just continue to widen this. Yeah, I don't know, like what if we have larger stacks and a bigger inventory? Would that ruin the game? Would people be angry at Notch and send him angry tweets? Or would it just make the game a bit easier? But less of a hassle to do stuff. Because, like, you know, my inventory is full of dirt now and wood. I haven't done very much. I guess there's the horses. We do have horses, or rather donkeys and mules, which I don't use all that often. Because you bring a donkey, then you have to make sure it doesn't walk away, and it gives you a little bit more inventory space, not that much more inventory space. It's kind of useful, not that useful. Let me just continue digging. I can combine the shovels later. Alright, so that's 2 blocks wide. Let me just take these and combine that and pick up the dirt. So you see 2 blocks wide, even that makes it, like, that's much wider. You see a lot more just making the trench 1 block wider. Let me just quickly go back to base and drop off some of this dirt. Or maybe I can just make a... Let's probably bring a chest or something. Let me just make a chest. That might be the smartest thing to do, actually. Let me come over here and drop that there. And do that. And drop that there. That's probably the smartest. There you go. That's probably that probably is the best thing to do. Let's just drop the wood as well. We'll come back for that. I don't really need a bed right now, do I? Okay, so let's keep digging. This needs to step up as well. I'll figure that out afterwards. Let me just continue widening the trench. So 3 blocks wide. So you see a lot more. You see the statues at least, and you see much more of the sky. But still, it does entirely, like, it completely focuses your attention to that, your destination, because there's nothing else to see except dirt on either side. So the trench makes you look up and it makes you look forward. Tunnel vision, as it were. In fact, I wonder if I shouldn't make this road the same kind of road as in the Hollow Mountain. Because in the Hollow Mountain I have the stone slabs and the stone bricks, and that's the materials I'm using for the road. Whereas the road I'm going to build is going to be gravel with spruce wood plank sides. So that's going to be a different road. Just thinking right now whether I should make this part the spruce, or if I should make it the stone bricks. If I make it the stone bricks, then it would indicate that it's the same project as the Hollow Mountain. If I make it the spruce, it would indicate that it's the same project as the road along the coast. What to do? It might make more sense if I make it the stone slabs and stone bricks. So have like the Spruce Road along the coast, and then staircase up at the beginning, And then have the stone here. That makes sense. Oh crap, I broke it. Damn it. That actually makes sense, I think. Rather than having this part of the road as the spruce as well. Let me just finish digging this and then go up and have a look. Always step back to have a look before you make any decisions about anything. Because like decision making is... Oh, I didn't actually drop anything down here. Good decision making is a decision where you consider all the options and all the information. So the more information you have, the better your decision making is. So if you're ever, undecided about something, just find more information. It's always a good idea. Always a good idea to find more information. So step back, look around, look at other things. It's never a bad idea. Alright, so here it is. So this is not bad. I'm just so we're down here, so the birch, or the spruce road is going to be down here, right? And then we get to here, and the spruce road is just gonna, well, there's nothing else out there, so I just stop there. But then imagine like a staircase, a stone brick staircase up here, and then the slabs for the road. Maybe a slab staircase, a stone slab staircase. Now I want it to be stone bricks, and also the angle. I guess I'll talk about it later on. The angle of the staircase. I'll talk about it now because I'm thinking about it now. So with a stone brick staircase, you can make it so that it's 1-to-1. So for every one block you go along, you go one block up, and that's like the steepest staircase you can have in the game. Whereas you can also make a slab staircase, which is for every 2 blocks across, you go 1 block up, because it's like a slab and then half block and then full block and half block. So that's like a shallower staircase. And the steeper the staircase, the more of an obstacle it appears to be, even though, technically it's not an obstacle either way. But the steeper it is, the more it looks like you have to make an effort to go in there. And I want to make this like the 1-to-1 staircase, a steep staircase, so that you have to make a conscious effort to get up the staircase before you go into this next area. And the next area starts here, although it's like a long entrance up to, or like a long path up to the entrance of the Hollow Mountain. So you have to, have to walk up these steep staircases to get into this narrow trench, and you have to follow this narrow trench to get to your destination. So this is like it's a really deliberate thing that you have to do. And you have to commit, because once you're in the trench, you can't get out of the trench again. So you have to commit to this path. I know I'm making a road sound really dramatic. I don't know if you think that's weird or funny or whatever it is, but that's what it is. Like, you have to really commit. You have to commit to this path. That's what I'm trying to do, right? And, once you're here, you can't get out. You can't get out. So that's the idea of it. And then, this is less attractive. Wait a minute, where am I? Here. This is less attractive. So you're gonna do this. This is less attractive. Maybe it should be slightly more open. Maybe after the bend, it should be slightly more open. So this is like tunnel vision. Maybe like here it should be more open. But I need to do it in a way that avoids... But I can't do that because this tree is doing this. I want to preserve the trees, but the trees are not really helping in this case. How would I do this while preserving the trees? I guess the path doesn't necessarily have to be entirely regular. Maybe I can just extend the tree down So make the path 5 blocks wide, but then just have a tree on the side of the road. I can do that. And here as well, I guess I can do that. I mean, it's just weird anyway. I'm going to fill this in regardless, because that tree is like on a block, on nothing. Yeah, maybe this needs to be wider. Because I mean, this is kind of cool because you've committed to this path, right? And that's kind of cool. But then after you get through here, it's like I feel like something should change. Like, you know, once you kind of go past the bend, something should change, but it doesn't. It just kind of is the same thing, but less attractive. So this needs to change, I think. And then you get to here. See, the other feature is these two statues on either side of the entrance, right? This is these guys holding up the entrance. So when you're back here, the trees will obscure them. The tree, like there's like multiple gateways. The trees form a gateway, and then the statues form another gateway behind that. So you get to here, it should be quite open. All right, I've decided that basically it needs to be more open here, because here it's still your vision, as it were, like what you see, is still dominated by these dirt walls on your left and on your right. You see that? So this needs to be more open, because at this point, you really should see more than this. Alright, so we're gonna do that. Alright, I'm gonna make this part a bit wider, try and preserve the trees on either side. It's gonna be a bit strange, but that's gonna be fine. So I guess after the bend, we make it 5 blocks wide. Also need to move the torches. So let me just go up and move this stuff. The frame rates are okay. It's just a bit inconsistent. Like, you know, I was looking at 20, like right now it's 22, 26 frames per second, and then suddenly it will just kind of drop down to 12, 11, like now it's 9? And why am I getting 9 frames and then it goes back up to 20? Oh, I'm recording. But it shouldn't be, because I'm recording to a different hard drive. Actually, no, it's not even that. Look, I look up. Look down. No, it's not that. It's just jumping between like 25 frames like now, and it dips down to like 9 or 8 frames a second every now and then, and it goes back up again. I have no idea why it does that. It's a little bit unfortunate, but Minecraft has always had issues. It's not even just the shaders. Minecraft has always had frame rate issues. And I really wonder about that. I wonder if... I don't know if... Has anybody asked Jeb or Notch or anybody? Like, if they were to make Minecraft 2, what would they do? I know it's not really something on the horizon, but you know, if you imagine Minecraft 2, what would you do? I would imagine a more efficient engine, a more efficient graphics engine with, you know, better rendering features. I think that would just be the main thing. I mean, the shaders, like, you can see how the shader mod actually works fairly well. So, you know, it's not like it's definitely possible to put better graphics in, but just more efficient graphics, because I think even now it tries to render every single cube. It doesn't render the things you can't see, but it's still kind of... It doesn't have a level of detail, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if you're familiar with computer graphics and what level of detail means. But basically, in a lot of games, as objects are further away, they would substitute in lower resolution models and lower resolution textures for distant objects, and that would reduce the amount of, you know, graphics processing capability required to render the scene at longer distances. So that's level of detail. I don't know if you've noticed it, or if it's something that, you know, you kind of see very often. But just kind of objects in the distance would be low resolution, and Minecraft does not have this. And it's always something that's, I felt like, was something that, you know, someone should try to solve. And I'm really surprised that still nobody has done it. Not mods, not Mojang themselves. Because I mean, I'm no programmer, so I mean, take everything I say with a grain of salt, or a pound of salt. But in my mind, I would imagine. So you have the map, right? And the map is divided into chunks. And every chunk is basically every single block in that chunk, and that's like that's a file. So what if instead of just having one set of chunk data, you derive lower resolution chunks from the original. So you have the main file, which is every single block in the chunk. But then from that, can't you like in the background calculate a lower resolution version so that maybe like every 8 blocks, so 2 by 2 by 2, so kind of merge that into one I don't know, meta block or one super block or something. And so then have like low resolutions of it, and then maybe have another level which is like 3 by 3 by 3, so every 27 blocks you kind of merge them into one. And so whichever block, I don't know how you do it. Either you just kind of say, well, within these 27 blocks, the majority of them are dirt, or the majority of the ones on the surface are dirt, and therefore then you say, okay, this is one dirt super block. And basically it's just a lower resolution version of the world, and you use those for the chunks that are further away, so that the further away it is, you just render fewer cubes. In essence, you render less geometry. So you load in the low resolution chunk for chunks that are in the distance that you can't see up close, and then that would allow you to use less geometry to represent chunks that are further away from you, which is essentially level of detail. That's what level of detail means, is to use lower resolution geometry for things that are further away.